Guys, in this video, we're going over why you're not wealthy and abundant, but more importantly, how to change this. So if you've just been feeling that you want more abundance in your life, more wealth, whether that's financially, whether that's in your relationships, abundance doesn't just have to be financial, right? Whether that's just in you want more joy in your life, whatever it is, I'm going to be going over very quickly in this more impromptu way, more casual way today, why it is that most people don't experience this wealth, abundance, why you may not be experiencing this, but how you can flip the script and make it so that you are experiencing this as your main reality. Because the fact of the matter is, it's not because this is the only thing you can experience. That's not the reason you're experiencing. That's not why most people are. It's like, oh, it must be the main one, the common way of experiencing things, not being wealthy, not being abundant, because most people are experiencing that. But that's not the case at all. Even the word abundance means plenty, and there is plenty. There's plenty to go around. Everyone has the capacity to be abundant, to be wealthy. It's not that they can't, it's that they just don't know how. They don't know how this works. And when you understand what I'm going to give you today, you will now understand how this works and you can start applying it. This is something I go over in way more depth with my one-on-one coaching clients. I've gone over in depth in my HeartPath product. If you do like these ideas and you want to go way deeper with them and really learn them and really start living from this place, just check out the links down below for either the coaching or for HeartPath as well. Information for those are down below. So the first thing we have to understand, there is a difference between our inner world and the outer world that we're now perceiving with the five senses, right? A lot of people put all of their emphasis on the outer world. But the problem with that is people are not aware, a lot of people are not aware at least, that the outer world is simply a reflection of the inner world. The inner world creates the outer world. The inner world is what dictates what happens in the outer. And it is the case all across the board. And so, because people don't understand this, when it comes to wealth and abundance, they think they have to do all of these things outside of themselves. They have to influence the physical world in order to bring in wealth and abundance. Now, of course, you can try and manipulate things in the outer world and try and change matter to matter into some other form of matter, which is really hard to do. And you can do it. You can hustle, you can grind, and you can make some more money. You could probably make a lot. But typically this leads to breakdown, this leads to more chaos, this leads to, imbalances in other areas of life. Where when you come from the inner world, you can have abundance in every area of your life. You can also have wealth without sacrificing your health to do so through stress, maybe poor eating and rushing. You can have abundance doing something that you love instead of thinking you have to do this other thing to make money or to create wealth or whatever else it is. And that's because we think we have to go out there to do it. That's like the priority versus it's an inside job. And that's the first thing to recognize, is that it's an inner to outer game. And when we cultivate the inner, it will influence the way we interact with the physical world, and it will also interact the physical world itself just by what we do with our inner world. That is, you can't really get around this, and it's something you have to learn and understand in order to change this. Again, this is something I go into much more depth with my clients and in HeartPath, but I want to keep it pretty simple here because we don't have time to go really deep dive too much into this, but just understand that the inner world is what leads to your outer. The outer world is simply a reflection of your inner. It really, really is. And through something called the quantum to Newtonian transition point, you manifest the outer or align yourself and end up being surrounded by the equivalent of your inner world, but it takes a little bit of time. The outer world is dense. This is all matter, right? This is all energy actually, but it's condensed into matter, very, slow vibrating, enough so that I can't put my hand through it and you wouldn't think it's energy. But if you were to look at it closer, it is actually energy, condensed. It takes a bit of time for that to happen. And so people will go and they'll work on their inner world for like a week or two. I mean, most people don't even do that consistently, but they do it for like a week or two consistently. And then they're like, where are my results? Yeah, I feel a little better, but where are my results? Why hasn't my physical reality changed that much? Or it has a little, but not that much. And then they give up and they go back to their old patterns that are more powerful because they haven't given themselves the time to develop these new inner patterns. And then they just keep manifesting the same they've always been manifesting from the inner patterns, the old patterns, instead of these new ones. The quantum to Newtonian transition point says that it takes 6 to 8 weeks of consistent particle energy flow, which is essentially what you're doing in your inner world, focus. Where focus goes, energy flows, 6 to 8 weeks, quantum Newtonian to Newtonian transition point, 6 to 8 weeks of that focused particle energy flow in the inner world to start seeing significant results in your outer. 6 to 8 weeks is not a long time, my friend. It's a very short amount of time to change your life and to start seeing those changes. Now, you will start noticing signs. We go over signs on this channel a lot. We go over synchronicities. You will start noticing those things a lot sooner. But those are almost like appetizers usually. Those are like little tastes of what's to come if you stick with it. But again, most people don't stick with it to their own detriment. Most people don't hold themselves accountable or don't get someone to do it, hold them accountable and keep them in the arena. Keep them in the energy they need to be in, which ultimately brings this about. So you have your inner to outer world. The one way you can think about it from my mentor, he likes to say, and I think it's a great analogy, is you have a financial bank account and an emotional bank account. And remember, emotional is energy in motion. So you essentially have an energy account and then your physical reality money account. Bank account, financial account, and your emotional bank account. And most people, again, just to give you quickly another way of looking at this, they think that the more they raise their financial bank account, the more their emotional will raise. And that can be true, but it's temporary. So let's say you raise your financial, you're like, oh, I'm happy now. But then it lowers, now I'm miserable. The thing is, we have this backwards. The name of the game is filling up your emotional bank account first. And as a result, your financial bank account will follow. Because you actually don't always have control of your financial. There's an ebb and a flow to money. There's an ebb and a flow to what comes in and what leaves. And that's inevitable. And so if you're always like, oh, my mood's dependent on my financial, you're going to be on this seesaw of emotions, this chaos. But if you focus on gratitude, if you focus on appreciation and you move from that, what you appreciate appreciates, and you move from that place, if you steep yourself in gratitude and love and joy, guess where your actions will come from? Not scarcity, not fear of losing money, scarcity, thinking there's not enough. You will now be coming, moving, thinking, speaking from love, joy, and gratitude. And if you think you're not going to experience wealth and abundance when you're moving, you're being joy, gratitude, peace, divinity, well then, what are you doing here? Because if you are moving from that place, you are creating a physical reality over time that aligns and synchronizes with that place. And guess what? One thing I'll leave you off with is to remember this. Abundance is nothing more, or wealth is nothing more than the perception of abundance triggered by gratitude. That's another one from my mentor, Peter Sage. It is nothing more than a perception of abundance, a perception. Inner world, how you see the world. You see abundance, you focus on abundance, focused energy. Where focus goes, energy flows. Quantum to Newtonian transition point, 6 to 8 weeks of focused energy will bring physical results. The perception, wealth is nothing more than the perception of abundance triggered. So what activates this? What energy can you be in that activates wealth in your life? Gratitude, appreciation. You can also throw love, joy, peace in there as well. This is the game. It really is. And if you look at why you're not wealthy, if you're not abundant, you don't feel abundant, ask yourself, have you been doing this? Or have you been doing its opposite? What are you doing the majority of the time? Are you grateful, or are you bemoaning your situation? Are you seeing the abundance in what you already have in your life? Are you appreciating what you already have and therefore will appreciate? Or are you giving attention to what you lack? Are you looking for everything you don't have instead of what you do? Are you looking for the gifts in life that are already there and that are always there for you to see, or are you looking for the lack of gifts, bemoaning the gifts you think you should have but do not? And nothing happens for no reason, my friend. If you don't have certain things because you're not ready for them or you're not aligned to them. Life will never present you something that, one, you're not ready for, but two, you're not in alignment with. You will never get the outward reflection that isn't congruent with your inner world. Every single time, for every single person, this is how it works. And so, again, I would encourage you to just take this to heart, to really absorb this, and to really remember this. Now, if you really want to be held accountable and you really want to ensure that you, like the drink, I think that was the wrong word. If you want to almost guarantee that you stay in this energy, I do recommend you take a look at the one-on-one coaching, because that's what I do. I keep you accountable. I make you go deeper into this area and actually apply it physically, practically, and inwardly in your life. And so that's what I do with my one-on-one coaching for this and other areas. So go check that out down below if you're interested. If not, you can also check out HeartPath, which is going to be a membership site, which is you don't get to work with me necessarily one-on-one, but you do in a group. You get courses. You will be able to ask me questions and things. And I go over these ideas in one of the courses in HeartPath, these ideas of abundance, these ideas of how to bring that into your life during the 7-day challenge that you'll get from that, which will go really deep, not only go really deep into these ideas, why they work, but also how to apply them. I give you some of the best tools to apply these ideas. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave you off there. Go check those out. If it resonates with you, you'll get more information down below on both. Just remember, wealth is simply the perception of abundance triggered by gratitude. Inner to outer world, guys. Inner to outer world, not outer to inner. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.